Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, will you come and join me just for a minute and imagine how awesome you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value for others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can Cristina Fontana. She comes highly recommended by our friend Bobby McLaughlin from episodes number 114, 123, and 129. She's my guest star today, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. Hey, Cristina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Why don't you get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world?
Well, I like to tell people that I wear lots of different hats. So, my main hat that I wear right now is being a health coach for living kidney donors and midlife women.
Hmm.
And I am a living kidney donor myself, and I'm a woman in midlife. So, that's one of my passions. I am also a registered nurse. I left full time registered nursing after the COVID pandemic and at the end of 2022 because I was a little bit overwhelmed with all the death and dying that I saw. And then, the doors to health coaching opened up. And so I'm doing that. I also am a yoga teacher and I teach yoga to oncology patients. That's a passion of mine. And we'll talk more about that later. How come oncology is such a dear area in my life. And I also going to talk about my volunteer jobs because to me they're just as significant as the jobs I get paid for. So
Hmm.
I am originally from Venezuela. Spanish is my native language. And so I volunteer as a medical interpreter, Spanish English medical interpreter at a clinic here locally in town, at a free clinic, because I remember where I came from. I also volunteer in the NICU, taking care of neonatal intensive care babies. And I advocate for living kidney donation, doing our treks. I love hiking and showing the world what donors can do. So
That's
lots of
awesome.
different things.
I loved reading about your volunteering to the natal centers, so you get to cuddle babies that are not otherwise being cuddled, which is
Exactly.
pretty. That's got to be pretty rewarding.
It's amazing. Yes.
All right, Christina, let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the World Wide Web can get to know you through our happy formula. It's a
Okay.
very simple but very powerful formula that goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power you need to get things done, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally? In other words, Christina, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the power you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to be a giver to others?
Well, I tell my patients and my clients and my students that I walk my talk, right? So, in order for me to show to them what they need to do to become healthy, to have a stable yoga practice, to live in this world free of disease, I take care of myself. So, I eat healthy, obviously, I exercise, I meditate, I do yoga, but I also take care of my body physically by getting my medical appointments, right? As a living kidney donor, as a woman in midlife, doing all the testing and all the appointments that I need to do. I also obviously take care of my mind. I spend time in my morning and in my day dedicated to prayer, dedicated to journaling. I'm in the process of writing a book. I spend time, set boundaries, spend time away from the busy hustle and bustle of our daily lives in order to take care of me, and so I can pour from a full cup and not from an empty cup, right? With my job, whether it's paid or volunteer, I also have to set boundaries, because when you're a giver and when you're in this profession that I'm in, giving to others and being a nurse, you're bombarded all the time by all different venues. And I have had to learn to say no sometimes. I have had to learn to set boundaries. And that's really important. I also believe in a higher power. I was raised Catholic. But, teaching yoga, some people have told me, so are you Buddhist now or whatever? It's not necessarily that I'm one thing or another, but I do believe in a higher power. And like I said, I do spend my time journaling, praying, meditating, taking care of me, because if I wouldn't do that, I'm on social media, for people to see my life and what I do. People wouldn't believe that they're going to have the results or do the things that we do when we hike the mountains and we prepare, to do all the things that we do, if I don't show that I am doing all the things as well. And that there's, like you said, place left over to pour into and still give to others. So I take a little bit of in every area of my life, like you said, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, all of it.
Very good. So let's dive into my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. I love it because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. And it creates an optimistic, gentle, but powerful and continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So, Cristina, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Well, I spend, like I said, a lot of time pausing and reflecting. And when you pause and reflect, you realize there's always room for growth. Whether you're going through something difficult or not, there's always room for growth. So, I set up goals in my business, goals in my life, goals in my health, and I know and I try to achieve those goals in small increments, right? I also learn from the things that went well and things that didn't go so well. So the next time I do it, it's better, right? I embrace the challenges. The story of my life, you'll see shortly, has been faced with so many different challenges. And when you embrace those challenges and you open your heart and you realize that there's room for growth, that things happen for you, not to you, then you
Right.
can learn to grow, and in that growth you're giving unto others. You're practicing self-care, you're celebrating every progress, because every little step in the right direction, one step leads to 1,000 more steps, you know
Yep.
but you have to take that first step, right? So and go in progress from there.
Yep. And it's also really important, as you said, to realize that hard times are there for you. And when you recognize, when you look back at life, you can see it. But if you can start to recognize it when you're in the middle of it, it sure helps you get through it. Because then you start looking around saying, huh, I wonder what I'm supposed to learn. I wonder why I'm going through this. I know there's a good reason, because there always is, but I think that really changes things for me.
Yeah, and I learned
Yeah.
that at a very young age. So now when things
Yeah.
happen, I'm always like on high alert, like why is this happening for me, not to me, and what can I bring to the table from this?
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, now let's explore purpose. That's the second element of the happy formula. And Christina, I've observed that major life transformations, that big discovery of purpose, so often comes from devastation. Addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster, some awful thing strips a life to its core, resulting in some big change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So, how about you, Christina? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the God given purpose you were meant to live?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Matt. There's more than one. And I'll try to summarize them here. So, the very first one I want to talk about was the death of my father. So, my dad died of kidney cancer when I was 14. So as a young
Hmm.
child, obviously I wanted to help him and do things for him, but you're a child, you can't do those things. So, it always left a mark in my soul that I would do something for someone else one day in memory of him, right? So I went to medical school. I did 7 years of medical school in Venezuela. And I'm talking late 80s, early 90s. Obviously, the political situation in Venezuela was terrible. We had to leave Venezuela. So I immigrated to the United States. So when I came here, I didn't want to have to go back and start medical school.
How old were you when you came here?
That was in 96. So I was in my early 30s.
Okay. Did you come with family?
I came with my husband and my two young kids. We had 4 suitcases, about $4,000, and that was it. I was an American citizen because my mom was American, but they were alien residents or whatever they were called then. And, they didn't speak the language. I spoke English well, but they didn't. So it was very challenging. It was very challenging. We wondered many times if we were doing the right thing. But in Venezuela, I had been held at gunpoint a couple of times, and we knew we did not want to give our children the life that we wanted for them, right? And so I just decided I had to, we had to leave the country, and that was very difficult. So I came here, and my first degree was in radiation therapy. So I obtained a degree in radiation therapy, worked in radiation oncology for many, many years, and specialized in what is called CyberKnife of Indianapolis. It was a machine that was open here. And at the time, I'm talking about 2010, there were only about 100 worldwide, right? And it's a business like everything. CyberKnife closed, and I was left without a job. So, I had lost my dad, moved to a different country, started a new career. My job that I loved had been gone. And my husband said, just stay home, be a stay-at-home mom. Financially, we're okay. And I thought, no, I'm supposed to be doing something more. And I had heard an ad on TV about becoming a nurse and doing an accelerated program, if you could. And I reached out to that program. And of course, a lot of the prerequisites had to be within a 10-year mark. And my prerequisites were way longer than 10 years. And someone said, well, reach out to the dean of the School of Nursing, present your case, and see what happens. And I did. And she got back to me and she said, well, normally we don't accept that. But if you want to take a test and you have to pass all these prerequisites with an A or B or above, then you're in. And I did that. And I tested out of physics and chemistry and all these classes that I had taken 20 years ago. And I started my nursing career, right? And when I started working in nursing, I did some oncology, but then I wanted to work peds. And I worked in the NICU, and I also worked in pediatrics. And there was one of my patients that was a diabetic. And I don't know if you're aware, but diabetes is one of the leading causes of kidney failure, kidney disease. And this little patient was having a lot of issues. And that little grain that was implanted in my brain when I was 14, when my dad died, came back. And I was like, what if I can do for someone else what I couldn't do for him? What if I can donate a kidney to a stranger? I looked into it, I did a lot of research, and without telling my family or my husband until I was fully approved. And then I went to my husband and I said, I'm donating a kidney to a stranger. And I knew in my heart it was going to be someone young. And it ended up being a 20-year-old.
Oh, great.
Later, right? And then, that door opened another door. That door opened a job as a transplant nurse. So I worked as a transplant nurse for many, many years. And like I said, I left after COVID because I saw so much death and so much devastation, but my heart was in the right place. I knew I had to go, to take care of family abroad, to spend more time with my own family, taking care of my own health. And then the coaching door opened. And, I feel like every single step have followed where I'm meant to be right now, but none of that would have happened if that very first tragic episode of losing my dad would have happened. And that's my walk, that's my purpose, right? And I love what I do. So
Beautiful. And so donating your kidney to a stranger was, in a sense, connected with your father. And if you could have done it for him, of course, you would have done it in a heartbeat. That's really beautiful.
And it's really interesting because I share this sometimes. I don't share it with everyone, but when I went to surgery, my dad being Italian, he used to play opera in our house. And there was a song by Luciano Pavarotti called O Sole Mio. And he used to play it all the time. And every time I would hear it for years, I'm talking, I donated 5 years ago, until the last 5 years, I would listen to it and cry. And I asked the surgeon when he put me to sleep if he would play my father's song while I was dozing off under anesthesia. Because it was so meaningful to me. What I was doing was so meaningful. And he did. And I can tell you nowadays, I listen to that song and it actually brings a smile to my face. It's great. Almost like, thank you, Dad. I mean, you had to be gone for me to go through this. And not that I wish that on anyone, but instead of having that victim mentality, it brought blessings to my life that I would have never otherwise had.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. Well, thank you for that. Now let's take a quick commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience. Living here. I love good things made for good people. That's why I love Happy Living's online e-course. It's an 8-week long deep dive into you and the inspired life you want to live. The life you were put here on this earth to live. The one that you and only you can live. 8 weeks of lectures and ideas and topics and supporting materials and powerful self-improvement tools. All designed for you. All designed to help you create the tools and the power and the confidence you need to discover your purpose and to discover the life you were meant to live and to feel incredibly inspired and motivated to decide you will live your life to its fullest. It's all designed to help you create the unique and distinct philosophy of you and your inspired life. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and save $100 with promo code WYTV7. And for every enrollment, I'll donate another $100 to WITV7. For $300 and about 30 hours, I promise you'll never, ever be the same again. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Cristina Fontana. She's a registered nurse, an oncology yoga instructor, a living kidney donor and advocate, a midlife women's health coach, and a certified faster way to fat loss coach. By combining her medical insights and knowledge and education, she offers personalized coaching in nutrition, fitness, energy management, and mindset specifically tailored to the needs of living kidney donors and midlife women. Oh, Cristina, I love that niche. And I think you're going to love this article that I found on livescience.com. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. The science tells us that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and overcoming difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, Cristina? Has giving your time and your talents and your treasure been a pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting past difficulties that you faced in life and for bringing real meaning into your life?
100%, Matt. I mean, like I shared earlier, everything that has happened for me has led me to the place where I am today. And, giving my knowledge that I gained through my medical school in Venezuela, even though I never graduated, I brought that into radiation therapy, brought that into nursing, bring that into my coaching, bring that even into my yoga that I teach my clients, that my talents, my gift. I mean, not everybody has to donate an organ to give something, right? It doesn't have to be tangible. My time giving to people that immigrate to this country like I did, who are scared, who are going through medical difficulties and don't speak the language. I was that person. I spoke the language, but I know what it means to be scared. So giving my time volunteering as a medical interpreter, to me is so meaningful. It makes me happy. I look forward to volunteering every week. And the same with holding the babies in the NICU. It's not just about them and giving them that caring touch and that love for them to grow that they need to grow, but it's comforting those parents that might have other siblings at home or might have to go to work. And, the nurses, because I worked as a nurse in the NICU, remember? And I know what it means to have 3 babies that are very, very sick and their alarms are going off because they're crying, when all they need is someone to sit there and cuddle them. It fills my heart. So yes, you can give your talents, you can give your body, you can give your time, you can give all of your gifts, and we all have different gifts. So yes, that makes a formula to be very happy for sure. I
And
would
we
agree with
all
that.
have something to give.
We all
Everybody,
do.
everybody can find something to give. And I think, when you're feeling bad and you're struggling, one of the best things you can do is do something for somebody else and point to them instead of looking at yourself.
And
So,
what we don't
and so,
realize is that when we lift others, we're really lifting
right.
ourselves. It's us
100%.
too.
That's what this
So,
article is about. I recommend that everybody read it. And so the science tells us that giving to
yeah.
others helps bring real meaning to our lives,
Mhm.
and the joy that comes from our fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value, confirms it. When you're doing work for others and you feel joy, that's confirming this science. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Christina. It's something that I've been learning about and I feel deep in my spirit. I think it's when, well, I've come to believe, anyways, that the real magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose. And so, Christina, the audience and I would like to experience how it makes you feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work God put you on this planet to do, and the people around you have taken notice. So, Christina, just sit back for a moment, open your heart, and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making on their lives by finding the magic of giving from living in your purpose. One person told me, Christina is a kind soul. She's always looking for ways to help others and share her knowledge and experience to benefit them. Another said, Christina is just a great living being. She's had it tough and still has a big heart to always want to help others, expecting nothing in return. Another said, Christina transmits happiness and positive vibes in all she does. Others said, one of the best radiation therapists I've ever worked with,
Oh,
compassionate, excellent with patient care, always willing to make the extra effort. Her unique background in human anatomy and medicine was a great asset to our group. Very dedicated, diligent, focused, enthusiastic, very detail oriented, has a strong work ethic, professional, a team player, always goes above and beyond, remarkable, steady, she gives her all and inspires others to do their best too, calm, warm, a bright personality, exemplary. I've been seeing her posts about climbing the world's tallest mountains. She just doesn't stop surprising me and how much she can accomplish. Christina has always been a smiley, happy girl willing to help others. She fiercely loves her family. She's full of love for others. Christina is one of those people that exudes love of family, that kind of mama everyone wishes they had, your friend, your mom, your biggest cheerleader, all rolled into one. Amidst her fear, she simply digs deep and bravely puts one foot in front of the other. People like Christina are gems. You have no doubt they'll just keep doing more good in the world. And finally, the young man who received your donated kidney, he said, who just donates a kidney to a complete stranger?
oh my
Not
goodness.
many people do that. That big decision completely changed my life. Yes, Christina changed my life. So, Christina, how does all that love make you feel?
You know, when we live our life with purpose, we don't ever expect anything in return. We don't expect thank you. We don't expect to touch people's lives. And I'm always humbled when people tell me, that you're such an inspiration and X, Y, and Z, because I don't do what I do expecting anything in return. I do it because, like you said, I'm living from my heart, from a place that has purpose and meaning for me. And I guess that shows.
And that, my friend, is what this show is all about. It's finding that magic in each of our lives, and it's available for each of us. It's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. It's giving your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And then when you're giving from living in your purpose, first of all, when you're in there, it's easier because it's your purpose. It's why God put you on this planet. So of course, if you're this great pianist, you're just playing the piano like it's nobody's business. I could never do that. It's not
No.
my gift. But the guy that's playing the piano, he says there's nothing to it. But it emanates this joy in your life and to the lives of those around you too. So it's giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So to better capture the exponential power of our happy formula, Christina, I've got to tweak it just a bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
That sounds about right to me.
Very good.
100%.
Very good. Let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites and have you tell us what they mean to you.
Okay.
Give us the first thing that comes to mind because we call this a lightning round.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, here we go. This is from Helen Keller. She said, security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
I agree 100%. You have to dare.
Yeah,
Life is beautiful and you have to dare it.
very good. You made me think of this one because of your niche, and this is from Paul Hawken. He said, go deep into a specialty, get a customer, make them happy.
I couldn't agree more with that because, in the line of coaching that I'm doing right now, there's 100,000 people waiting for kidneys, right? If there was 100,000 people willing to give, we wouldn't have a list, which means my niche is pretty small. I am not the $1 million coach that some people, who just, want to work with everyone. I am very small and I'm very deeply committed because I was the nurse that was telling people they were not candidates to donate, that had health issues that were preventable. And now my job is to get those people that were not candidates, that had preventable health issues, come forward again, work with me, get them approved so they can help their loved one. And if they've already been through the donation process and they're struggling with their health, I can help them get their health back in track. But it's a very, very subspecialized niche. So,
Yeah, very good.
slow and steady wins the race, Matt, right?
That's it, 100%. This one's a quote from my past. I'm not sure why. I don't know who the original author was, but it says, your day belongs to another's dream.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we must never forget that what we have now was something we used to dream of
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago, even though we didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm. This is from Albert Einstein. He said, there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle.
I live my life as if everything is a miracle because it
Mm-hmm.
is.
This is from Rumi. He said, of all you see, only love is infinite.
Donating a kidney to a stranger and going through the COVID pandemic and nursing has shown me that love connects us all. It's the
Mm-hmm.
highest vibrational energy in the world. And until we can all see that, the world is not going to change. But the moment we all are able to see that, then, the world is going to be a better place. We need more people to see that.
And I would add, when you're living your life in that love, your world's already changed.
Yeah.
There may be bad stuff around us, but when you're sitting there with your babies, you're not worried about what's going on overseas. It's right there is love, and you're experiencing it, and that little baby's experiencing it.
100%.
This is from 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. He who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver.
Oh, that's beautiful. And we all have gifts. Like I said, that's why they're called gifts. And, interestingly enough, my sister went through the same thing as me, right? She lost her father too. She came to a different country, but we have completely different paths. What I give and what my gifts that were given to me by God are mine. She has hers. And we all need to dig a little deep and find what those are. Because if not, the first time you hit a roadblock, you're going to think, that's it. I have nothing else to give. That's it. The only thing I knew how to do was study medicine. Well, look
Yeah,
how far I've come.
yeah.
Look all the things I've done.
No, I think that's it. And that's the purpose of this show. If you're listening, is if you don't feel like you've discovered your gift yet, keep looking because it's really, really worth it when you finally find it. And as Cristina pointed out, it changes over time. And so you just got to keep rolling with what I believe what God has given you. He's putting it when you're struggling, there's a purpose for it, as Cristina mentioned earlier. And if you work through that struggle, you'll find something on the other side that you maybe didn't expect, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you have to have an open heart. You have to have an open mind. And when your gut feeling tells you something, it might be crazy. When my gut feeling said, look into kidney donation, I mean, that's crazy. But I knew there was a meaning. And when my husband asked me, what if you die during surgery? What if something happens to you? And I tried to explain to him that I knew I was going to be okay. And I don't know
Mhm.
how to explain that, but it was a calling probably from God.
Yep,
And I went through it. And most people stay in the hospital anywhere from 2 to 4 days. And I was released within 24 hours. Like I had
wow,
no pain. I felt great. And
that's great.
and that's what I want the world to know. It doesn't have to be as extreme, obviously, but find your gift, have an open heart, have an open mind, dig deep. Your own journey is yours. It's authentically yours. Like I said, my sister went through the same thing as me, and her gifts and what she does are completely different. And we went through the same devastation.
Correct.
So, dig deep and you will not regret it. You will be happy. And like people said, that I'm always happy and I'm always smiling. I have good days and bad days, but for the most part, when you live your life with purpose, when you do the things you love, even a bad day can make you smile.
Yes, ma'am. This is from Goth. It's our show anchor. Last quote. He said, "Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now."
Oh, 100%. That's why I'm writing a book. I'm not a writer, I'm a scientist. Remember? I don't know anything about any of this. And I have that other little nudge in my heart to write a book. And I have begun. And I'm going to publish it this year. And I'm going to give a TED talk. And I'm going to do all the things that are in my heart that are still speaking to me and are still coming. Because you know what? My time here is not even close to being done. I have so many more things I want to achieve. But for that, I need to open my heart and continue to listen. Listen
Yeah,
in the quietness and in the stillness.
yeah, yeah. Very good. Okay, folks, now it's your chance to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Cristina Fontana, won't you please share a little love with our wonderful broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7? They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Cristina, I love how you empower your clients to set and achieve health goals and implement sustainable lifestyle changes and navigate through health challenges with confidence. And I admire that you've created a strategically tailored coaching niche specializing in the needs of living kidney donors and midlife women. And I'm super happy that you've shared your tenderhearted and gentle but powerful spirit on our show today. Will you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks that you'd like to leave with our audience?
I want to thank you so much for having me and for sharing my story. And like I always think, when I go to bed and I put my head in the pillow, if I went through one day and I was able to help one person, someone
Mhm.
listening to the show, someone working with me, someone doing yoga, that little baby, whatever it is, then I feel like my life has purpose. And that's what I want everyone to take with them. When you put your head in the pillow at night, have you done something to help someone that can never pay you back? Something
Yeah,
from your heart.
yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Christina. And
Thank
I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Christina and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to social media and all things Cristina Fontana. Find her, friend her. We'll post all her links to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and even where you can go to sign up to work with her. We'll put it in our show notes. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz because measuring your happy helps you focus your attention on it. And focusing attention on it attracts change and learning and improvement all to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then give some thought to what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show.
thank you.
And we're out.